Feeling green, feeling green. Don't you wanna feel real green? I do. Hello, my name is Scott Schaefer, and I am feeling green. Are you feeling green? I hope so, because this is my first episode of my Feeling Green segment on Thinking Aloud. And the purpose of my segment is to go around to local businesses and homes that prove to be developing some sort of green practice. That could be powering with solar, participating in local economies, or simply building with sustainable materials. The green possibility is only limited by the imagination. The people that I visit have a lot of it. Today I've done you a very special favor. I've come all the way out to Mancos, little town where the West still lives, to talk to Bill Alberts, owner of Rustic Style. Bill, come on in here.
Hey Scott.
How's it going?
Good.
So, give us a little bit of history, how you got started in all of this and how you ended up here.
I started building this rustic furniture in Durango about 12 years ago. And I found that I was running up here to Mancos because there's a lot of wood, a lot of aspen, and driving it back, and finally realized I'd better off just to build it here, ship the actual furniture to Durango. So I've been here for about 12 years. I was working in the building industry, and some of my customers had seen pictures of stuff like this and requested that I could, ask if I would build them some of this stuff. And so I gave it a try, and I actually enjoyed doing it. A little less stressful than other type of construction. And I just got it went into it full time.
Huh. Has it stayed pretty consistent throughout the 12 years?
It's been very consistent for 12 years.
Great. Well, I'd like to get a tour.
Okay.
And I was hoping to start out at ground zero, so let's go logging.
Sounds good.
All right, great. Here we are, and aside from the massive piles of cow crap, this is a very beautiful place to be. Beautiful time of year. We got the colors changing. What are we doing here?
Well, we're going to get some raw materials to build some furniture.
All right.
We're going to try to select some standing dead aspen. Well, when the tree's alive, it's taking carbon out of the atmosphere, and it's storing it in the trunk and in the root system of the tree. As soon as the tree dies, it rapidly releases all that carbon. So in the short run, the trees do help the environment as far as getting carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. But as soon as the tree dies, it releases that carbon, like those trees there. They're rotting, and all that carbon dioxide that they stored for the 40 years that the tree was growing will be released in a fairly short period of time.
So why don't you cut dead trees, living trees?
There's several reasons. One thing is we might as well let them live. There's plenty of dead trees around here. We might as well use just the stuff that's already dead. And the other reason, the wood's a lot drier. We don't have to let it dry for a year or two. We can get by with drying it for 6 months or so.
So again, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
All right.
Yeah. We're not doing it. We're doing it because
it's
I like
practical.
To think that we're
It's practical.
It's practical.
Not only is it environmental, it's practical. That's great. All right. Well, let's cut something down then.
Here's a real typical tree that we would take. It's not the biggest tree in the forest, but it's really the basic size that we need for most of the stuff we do. So we'll take this one down.
Okay, so we've got 2 logs now. Obviously, that's not enough to make this trip worthwhile. So, how many do you think we can get in this load?
We can probably get about 100 logs in the back of a pickup truck, depending on the sizes. But generally, when I've counted, I have about 100 pieces in there. So, and that's probably enough to make 8 or 10 pieces of furniture.
Right.
And keep us busy for probably 2 or 3 weeks with one truckload of wood. And it really didn't take that much fuel to get up here. We probably traveled about 10 miles. This truck, on these roads probably gets about 20 miles a gallon. So So we will have used about a gallon of fuel to come up and get about a quart of wood, and then not even maybe a quarter of a gallon of fuel to run the chainsaw.
Okay, so we're here at the mill, your private mill. Tell us about the process from log to finished piece.
Well, we basically just take the raw logs and we set them on here, and this is just a hand. You just push this through by hand, and it will mill up the logs. And this is too a very efficient way to go. I've been cutting all summer. Probably cut about 3,000 board feet of lumber, and I've probably used less than 5 gallons of gas.
Wow.
In fact, this is what I started out with, and there's still enough to cut it probably one more truckload.
Huh.
So we can get a lot of boards from a very small amount of fuel.
Alright, so obviously you have tools, but a lot of your work done is by hand, right?
A lot of the work is actually done with hand tools. To take this from a raw log to basically a finished product here, this is a fireplace mantle. Most of it was done the old-fashioned way with a draw knife, which is a really effective tool to take the bark off of the raw logs. We don't use a machine. We do use sanders to finish it off and to do the finished shaping. But most of the shaping is actually done with a hand tool, and it's really just a more effective way to do it.
What kind of electricity are you using here?
Well, I have power from Empire Electric, and unfortunately they do not offer the green energy credits. Hopefully, I'm sure they will soon, but unlike Wapaga County, I cannot get the carbon offset credits. So I do use electricity, but I don't use very much. I looked at my electric bill, and I'm using about 5 kilowatt hours a day.
Wow.
Which is less than $1 worth of
Yeah.
electricity per day. So to build a lot of furniture for $1 is a pretty good use of the energy.
Right. Right. So, see, a lot of your light comes from. Do you try to work your hours of operation around the sun, or?
It certainly helps.
Yeah.
You know, it warms up in here in the morning. Once the sun comes up, it starts to warm up. We get a fire going. We burn off all the waste, the scraps, and it's actually convenient because it just gets that stuff out of the way just about as soon as we produce it. We get rid of the scrap in the winter. In the summer, we have to stockpile it and wait until the winter. I burn some in my